I, Greg Parsley, Superintendent for the Vincennes Community School Corporation, and the weekly update as it pertains to the VCSC. Food, it's another Monday. We are doing food distribution. We'll continue with that, as we have said, through the week of Monday, May 18th. And then we will transition into a summer meal service, and basically what that means is that the in-home deliveries will come to a stop, but we will still have food service. Again, kudos to Mike Zadie and his folks. They continue to turn out about 9,000 meals each Monday. Very much appreciate the work that they are doing there. I know a lot of questions come into the VCSC helpline. We certainly appreciate those questions. A lot of the questions that come in pertain to food. Unfortunately, one of the things with food, you do need to have a child. We do know that there are other community partners that can certainly help in the realm of food service. Salvation Army certainly being one of those partners that we work with frequently, and there are others out there as well. But if you are in those dire straits, certainly you can reach out to the helpline and we can try to get you the resources. But when it comes to the food service program that we are operating, you must have children. PowerSchool, I know that there has been an issue there with PowerSchool for parents, and we're continuing to work through that. Hopefully we'll get that quickly resolved. I know one of the other large questions that has come in frequently pertains to items that students have within the buildings, and we have talked about that a couple of times in my weekly message, and more so have been somewhat vague because we have not been able to release that plan. In large part, that's because we're still under those stay-at-home orders. I do know as it pertains to the elementary schools, the next week on Monday, May 4th, when folks come out to pick up food, pick up e-learning packets, the elementary is prepared to also give back the student belongings that have been in the teachers' classrooms. So simply be prepared for that at the elementary level. And we thank those teachers for going into their classrooms and gathering up the items and the belongings of the students. At the middle school and high school level, that still looks a little different. In large part, we're dealing with much larger numbers or volumes. Those items are stored safely within the lockers. As I have said in previous messages, if a student needs something, we just simply would encourage you to reach out to Mr. Clark or Mr. Combs at the middle school or high school respectfully, and they have been very good about getting those items, bagging those items, and then just putting them in a spot where the student, parent, guardian, whoever can just stop in and pick those up. So if you are a middle school or high school student and you do need something from your locker, again, go through Mr. Clark or Mr. Combs and they will take care of that. Hopefully, the stay-at-home orders and at least the guidance that perhaps we anticipate some direction this week. As we know, May 1st being Friday, maybe those are relaxed a little bit as we begin to go into phases. And if that does transpire, perhaps then we can put a better plan in place. I don't think you're going to see the situation where folks are going to be able to come into the buildings, but perhaps we can, if there is a relaxation of those, start to develop a better plan for the middle school and high school. Again, I just emphasize a week from today, Monday, May 4th, is a e-learning packet pickup. That's for the elementary and a large part of our middle school students who do not have technology, and that will cover you through the last 2 weeks of the school year. Mask. I know there was the VCSC had last week put out a statement that we were looking for masks. Really, more than anything, the VCSC is just simply being proactive. And with that, trying to be as flexible as humanly possible. There's absolutely no mandates or guidelines that have been put into place. Our concern, and if you know anything certainly about us as a school corporation, is just trying to be sure that we're always as proactive and as flexible as we can be, and especially in this situation, that should the situation become where we're issued that green light and we can come back in the fall, or maybe it's even to operate with summer school, we certainly want to be very sure that we have taken care of everything on our end, especially if a mandate is given to us and said, well, you can return, but you're going to have masks. Now, nothing has been said or mandated with that. It's just being proactive and flexible, and we'll address that issue when it comes before us. But what we don't want to have is a situation where that does come into play and then we were not prepared. So flexibility is the key thing there. As I mentioned, we do hope that there will be some guidance that will come later this week as it pertains to the stay-at-home orders. That may change some things with my message next week, and we will go from there. Until then, stay safe and positive. Thanks.